Welcome everyone in this new video tutorial about the multiplayer combat editor. In this video we're going to learn how to create statuses for our game. So what are statuses? Statuses are temporary actors, components which spawn in the world to modify some of the to dynamically modify some of the properties of our actors. So it's a little bit technical the way I said it, but it's basically just something which spawns in the world and modify the properties of something for a fixed amount of time. For instance, a burning effect. For instance, a stunning crowd control. For instance, a fear crowd control, and stuff like that. So and also, so it can be negative, like I just said, crowd controls, but it can also be buffs, and so positive effects, like I don't know, inner fire. You buff a target ally, and you increase its amount of damage. In this case, inner fire is a status. So we're going to and another type of status is, for instance, poisoned. You take damage every second. Or frozen. You are slowed. And you have a bunch of statuses in the example content. So you can see that in statuses, prefab. You can go there and check out all the statuses I created and learn how to set them up. But we're going to create one in that video. So we're going to head over our content browser. We're going to create a new folder called status. We're going to right click, create new blueprint class, type in status, and create a child class of BP status, like this. This is going to be called BP. We're going to create a status for our game, which is an example status. We do not care. BP example status. We're going to open that up. We're going to delete everything we see. We're going to right click, hit setup. And we have to call event set metrics there. This is going to be the place where we say how our setup, what are the metrics of our status. So for instance, what is its icon, its duration, and stuff like that. We are also going to call, so that's all we're going to call for now. We're going to drag a wire out of this, and we're going to type in setup once again. And we can see we have store status values. We're going to click that. And that's the node, that's the setup I was talking about. So we can tell the name of the status. So the status is going to be called, for instance, I don't know, example status, we do not care. For instance, the icon, I do not care. What's the type? Is it negative or positive? We're going to say it's positive for now. We do not care. What's the duration? We're going to specify 5 minutes, 5 seconds. This is in seconds, sorry. The value is just a number you can use to modify. This is just a variable which is going to be available to us to store data. So we're just going to specify 0 for now. Stack values. What does it mean? It means when that status got applied a second time, when this status is applied to an actor which is already affected by that status, does it add the base value of the status to the previous value of the status which was affecting the actor? Stack type, it asks for how should the duration behaves when the status is affecting, when the status is stacked. So if it resets the duration, so you can obviously know what they do, what everything does. If you say reset duration, it's resets the duration of the status which got stacked to 5. If you say adds and you add 1 second remaining, the status has 6 seconds remaining now. If you say both, it's resets the statue to the maximum duration and adds the duration. So if an actor is affected by the status we are creating now, and 1 second is remaining, and you apply that status once more to the actor, the duration is going to be 10 if you say both. If you say none, it's not going to affect the duration when reapplying the status. Attach points and status fx. So attach points is to what socket of the components you specify that status should be attached to. To what socket does the status attach itself? So for instance, if you specify a skeleton, and we'll see where you specify what components is the status attached to. And status fx is obviously what is the visual effect of the status. So we're just going to look for burning. We're just going to say, hey, we want to see the status. So we created the status, okay, but what does it do? We're going to type in. So I'm going to head over our example content. I'm going to go in our status prefab, burning, for instance. So this is suppose I think I'll put that. So this is another event we have to call to set up our status, and it's not in the setup list. If I type in setup, this event does not appear, and that event is the event where we specify what our status does. So we need to be calling this. So let's go back to our example status. Let's right click and type in apply status, and we have to bring event apply status effect, and this is called when the status is applied to a target. So there are a lot of things you can do there. First, you can right click and type in get target. Or get owner. So this is, I'm going to double check that. I'm going to double check if I don't have. I'm supposed to have a function that gives us the target of the status, and we don't. So I will be creating one. But basically, if you right click and type in get owner, this is going to be, this is the target the target affected by the status. And what do you want to do here? Maybe you want to add a stat modifier. Nope, that's not what I want to do. I'm going to right click and type in feature. What can I do? What can we do? I'm going to drag a wire out of this and I'm going to type in feature. What can we do with our status? We can add a proc effect. We can add a status modifier. We can add a vision check, a distance check, and a damage check. So if we add a damage check, this is going to say when our target takes damage, it's going to remove that status. Okay. Next, distance check. This means when the target of the status gets further away than the actor we are specifying there, the status is going to stop. So for instance, we can say get instigator like this, And this is going to say if you go further away than 100 meters, than 10 meters, I mean, from the guy who gave you the buff is going to be removed. Next feature, add vision check. This is going to say for every tick, we're going to draw a line between the target of that status and the actor we pass as parameter here. So for instance, if I grab the instigator, I say every 0.25 seconds, you check if the guy who gave you the buff is still in sight. If he's not, we're going to remove the status. Then we have our main feature, which is add status modifier. I'm just going to remove everything else, and I'm going to directly grab that. And I'm actually going to check something real quick if I'm going there. I need to know something real quick. For instance, there. Okay. That's how we are supposed to do that. So, status work with modifiers. Modifiers are a type of objects which allow us to modify stat, actions, and stuff like that. So we're going to see how it works real quick, and we're going to call the video over because we've already we're going to need other videos to see all the features statuses have. So when you are calling this, you can actually say you want a BP modifier. This is actually generating an object which gives us a few features. So if you drag a wire out of the blue pin, this is giving you the reference to the modifier we just generated, and you can type in feature. And there you have a lot of functions. We're just going to go over one real quick, and it's going to be for instance add team modifier, for instance, just for the purpose of this tutorial. So when example status is being applied to an actor, that actor is going to be transformed to be converted into another team. And I'm going to say green, for instance. So when someone, so we're going to add we're going to apply that status with a skill. Skills have built-in features to spawn status and apply status. So we're just going to open up the skill we created, thrust, or whatever skill you have, and wherever you want. In my case, it's in my trigger anim effects, but in your case, it might be elsewhere. Well, it might be either in trigger anim effects or another of the events we saw in previous videos, where you can call gameplay effects in your skills. So in my case, it's when I hit my target, I'm applying damage to it, and we'll also drag a wire out of the targets in front of us, and we're going to say apply status, like that. Simple apply status. And we're going to want to apply our example status. We're going to hit compile, hit save. Then we're going to hit play. And I'm going to switch team, like this, hitting the plus button, and I'm going to hit the other player. Hop! Is becoming green for the amount of time I specified in the status we created. like this. And we have a lot of other features in our modifier. In our example status. For instance, add proc effect. This is going to call another event. If you add that node, add proc effect, every tick frequency, every frequency is going to trigger that event. And in there, you can say, for instance, get target combat manager. This is the combat manager of the guy being affected by the status. And you also have get instigator combat manager, which is the combat manager of the actor which created the example status, which generated the status. So you can basically say, hey, every 0.5 seconds, I want to apply damage. Who do I want to apply damage to? It's the targets. We can drag a wire out of it, say make array, drag a wire out of this, say make find result. And so I'm just going to sort that real quick, like this. So we want to apply damage. Who do we want to apply damage to? This is the actor we want to apply damage to. Which actor is this? It's the actor, for instance, which is affected by the example status. So in our case, the example status won't be a bonus anymore. It will be a malus, for instance. And we're going to get rid of the T modifier. So we're saying when we are applying that example status, every 0.5 seconds, we are triggering that effect. So what do we want to do here? We want to grab the guy affected by the status. We want to apply damage. We don't care about the other parameters there. We might, but it's outside of the scope of that tutorial. So we're just going to say that target gets damaged by how much? Let's say 5 or 2. We do 2, for instance. What are going to be the gameplay tags? You can drag a wire out of this and say make bit mask. And that bit mask is going to be a gameplay tag. And you're going to say, for instance, physical, magical, or whatever. We're going to say, for instance, fire. What is the source of that damage? We're going to say it's the instigator. Who is the instigator? We remember it's the guy responsible for the spawn of that status. Extra multiplier is in case we want to modify this damage based on, for instance, a critical hit chance or stuff like that. In our case, we do not care. So if I'm hitting play, and then if I'm switching my team and hitting the other guy, is going to take damage over time. We're just going to reduce the damage of thrusts just to see the status for a bit more time. So if the server hits the other guy, so sometimes you see his health popping up. That's because we enabled health regeneration. So when the health regeneration kicks in, you can see his health is going up. So it's going to wrap up the video. Hope you guys enjoyed it and hope to see you in the next one. Bye bye.